Hi, I'm Emily Everett.
And I'm Andrea Tello.
And today we are discussing the question of which cockroach, either the German cockroach or the American cockroach, will lead to greater devastation and losses. So I'm going to talk about my cockroach first. It is the German cockroach. It is found in association with humans all over the world, and its survival is dependent on humans. And so it always has to be near humans. So that means that you can find them in houses or apartments or restaurants, any place like that. And this is the case because roaches forage for food and water, and also have to be warm. And so that kind of hinders their ability to go into really cold regions unless there are humans there. So they have to be near heat, and they have to be able to get food and water. They start out in egg cases, and the female will produce egg cases which will contain a lot of eggs. The full maturation process from beginning to end lasts about 60 days, and then they'll be sexually mature at that point. German cockroaches prefer moist and warm environments, so that's why you can find them in kitchens and in bathrooms. They are notorious for hiding in food prep and service areas. They hide in nooks and crannies, and they produce disease and will spread that around when they forage for food. So they often like to eat sugar, starch, grease, and meats. So whenever they are foraging around for that, they pathogens on their bodies are transferred onto the food, and that is what causes humans to get sick. So you can get food poisoning, diarrhea from that, and also the cockroach produces these secretions, and that also can cause irritations or allergic reactions from humans. So they are definitely a health risk. So that is the German cockroach.
And I have the American cockroach. So they have 3 life stages: the egg, they have variable numbers of nymphal instars, and they also have the adult stage. So the life cycle from an egg to an adult averages about 600 days. When they become adults, their size is anywhere from 1 3/8 inches to 2 1/8 inches long. They both have wings. The male has much bigger wings than the female. They love humidity, so that also influences their size. They spend 75% of their time into narrow cracks. They prefer anywhere that is near food and water. They can live anywhere, in households, outside, as long as they have access to food and water and it's relatively warm and high in humidity. They do cause health problems due to the association with human waste and disease, because they will eat anything that's organic. They'll eat each other, they'll eat feces, things like that. They can transmit a variety of bacterial diseases, at least 22 species of pathogenic human bacteria, viruses, fungi, protozoans. They can also transmit worms. There are also the 4th most common allergens. So if you have asthma, that can be a major problem. But yeah, overall, they are pretty nasty. They're very big. They cause a lot of health problems because when they drop their waste, it can pretty much go anywhere in food, water, things like that. But, yeah.
Okay, so my first rebut to that is about the size comparison between the German and the American cockroach. So the American cockroach, as Andrea said, can grow up to be over 2 inches. And while that does have like a freaky aspect to it, the German cockroach usually stays somewhere between 1/2 inch and 5/8 inch. And because of this, this allows them to hide more easily in cracks and in little nooks and stuff like that around the home. So because of that, I believe that they would be harder to exterminate because it is easier for them to hide. Therefore, it is hard. It's easier to lead to greater infestation and losses. So, yes.
Although they are much smaller in size, because the American cockroach are bigger than the German cockroach, when they infest a home, it's going to cause some psychological impacts on humans because they're going to be stressed out and they're going to have anxiety due to the infestation. They're not going to want their homes to look that way. They are not going to want people to come into their homes when they have big cockroaches there. So in my opinion, it'll cause more stress. But in review to that, American cockroaches do have a number of diseases that they can transfer to humans through their feces. And like I said, they can cause worms. They carry worms. So if that gets dropped into people's food, it will cause humans to get worms, and then they carry diseases and things like that. So that's a major problem.
My response to that is that, yes, American cockroaches do produce all these diseases, but so do German cockroaches. Not only do their bodies carry disease-bearing pathogens that can get onto food while foraging, but the German cockroach also secretes certain things while they are foraging, and these secretions can cause any like allergies and allergic reactions. And so because of that, I think that they also produce disease. So my rebut is the fact that the German cockroach can produce 10,000 to 3,000 offspring in a year, and its egg cases hold a lot of eggs. And I think that that leads to greater infestation just because of the sheer numbers. So.
Although the German cockroach does produce a lot more offspring than the American cockroach, the only difference of that is that the American cockroach can live anywhere as long as they have access to food and water, and as long as it's high in humidity. So they can live outside and not have to be anywhere near humans. So with that, like, it's harder to get rid of them because they don't have to be near humans to survive. They can be outside for a good while and then finally decide to come in and infest the home. So they necessarily don't have to be more towards humans. So that allows them to reproduce more, although they don't produce as many, but they will have a longer lifespan in comparison because they won't be near humans and they won't be, you know, they won't get rid of them because they're outside compared to the German cockroach where they are with the humans.
So, for my closing statement, I'm going to say that based on evidence and research, the German cockroach produces more offspring. So it can produce anywhere from 10,000 to 30,000 offspring in any given year. And that, just the sheer number, would cause a greater infestation, which would lead to heavier losses and devastation. And also, because of their size, the German cockroach is able to fit into more cracks and more small areas. Therefore, they would be harder to find and harder to get rid of. So that is why I think that they would lead to the greater loss.
So in my opinion, American cockroach will produce greater infestation and greater loss because of their number, their size. They also have wings, so they can use those. But their size, it causes more stress in humans if they are in the household. But yeah, so the size is a big difference. Also, where they live, as long as they have access to food and water, they can survive anywhere. So they necessarily don't have to be inside of the household. They can be outside. So it allows them to grow and reproduce more. But yeah.
So some of the research being done about cockroaches mostly has to do with exterminating them. There isn't a lot of research done to like further science or to help with any kind of problems, because the cockroaches usually are the problems. They cause lots of health problems. They cause emotional distress, and they are just not a healthy thing to have in the home, in one's apartment, or in a restaurant because of their disgusting nature. So, yeah, that is about it. We hope you enjoyed our debate. Dig 'em. Okay.